Hello friends, EJ here from the back porch, and I'm going to talk with you today about vintage toys. We've got a store full of vintage toys. We move them fairly quickly, so if there's something you like, give me a yell. We can make it yours, but it's not really the purpose of our video today. The purpose of our video is to kind of discuss this genre of collecting, and it is as broad as one could expect. There are people who collect dolls. There are people who collect trucks and cars and big trucks and miniature kitchen appliances, miniature furniture, you name it. But today we're heavy on the automotive side just because that's kind of what we've got in stock. But we do have a few other pieces in stock across the store. Some were behind glass this morning. I didn't grab those, but this is kind of a cross-section of what we're offering here at the back porch. But vintage and antique toy collecting really started with the early primitive dolls. If you go back far enough, especially in southern Appalachia, you will find corn husk dolls and things like that, everything that was kind of make-do. This is an example of what might have been considered an early primitive top doll. This is, of course, a reproduction of what would have been done in early southern Appalachian and primitive culture, maybe using a coverlet or leftover cotton or whatever would have been to have made these particular dolls. But this was really kind of the first attempt at, toys. And really, I guess I should be careful with that because toys have been around ever since children have been around. So there have always been intelligent parents who were willing to put something in the hands of their toddlers to help them learn and to help them maybe be distracted from doing what little kids do. But anyway, here's a pretty cool piece. This one is available here at the Back Porch Antiques if you like that sort of thing. Along the same lines, this is a mid-century piece, a mid-century toy, a miniature oven. A lot of times these would have come with many different pieces of kitchen furniture, refrigerators. They would have been in all different kinds of colors, blues, pinks, reds, those sorts of things. But this is a pretty cool piece, Nylint brand. It's got 4 burners and a stove top and those sorts of things. So it's it's a pretty cool little piece that's available here at the Back Porch Antiques. Back when they made toys out of metal and kids didn't try to make weapons out of them. Fisher-Price Junior Circus. This is for the thinking children, those who are smart enough to build things. It's kind of along the lines of Lincoln logs. If you know what Lincoln logs are, you got a set of logs in a box, and you put them together, and you had a log cabin, and then came Legos a little later on. There's a whole subculture of humanity that love Legos, conventions that are revolve around those. But this is kind of that early top mindset of a child using their mind to build things. And this is the Fisher-Price Junior Circus, 22 play parts it says, and it's available here at the back porch. On to our automotive style, Tonka. Everybody knows the name. This is a later understanding of Tonka. Tonka's been around since the earlier part of the 20th century, and they've made things from ride-ons to they're well known for their heavy equipment. Child's toys heavy equipment later in the 70s and 80s and 90s. But this is an example from probably the late 60s, early 70s. Pretty good little dump truck there. At some point, they started going to this kind of cab-over, more modern look than the original top toys that they had earlier on. Everybody loves a Volkswagen. This is a Tonka-made Volkswagen, one of the earlier models. I would imagine this is from the earlier 60s. You can tell from kind of the stamped metal pieces underneath. And the bug eye, if you know a bug, they kind of went to a different top headlight a little later on in the late 60s, early 70s. So this is probably an early 60s piece. A good example if you like Volkswagens. Here's one for you. There are train collectors all over the world, and we have several of our good and faithfuls who are train collectors. They are model train enthusiasts. They build model trains, and they come through our doors here at the shop to try to add to their collection or to add to their build. And we're grateful for their business, and we try our best to keep a good selection of model train odds and ends available at our shop. So I'm really careful to call model trains toys because a lot of people will correct me and say, oh no, those are models, those are miniatures, they're not toys. They're much more complicated than toys. So whatever you call them, we've got a pretty good selection here. This is an Amtrak engine that's pretty well new in the box with the box in great condition. By the way, anytime you are collecting toys, the box is just as often as valuable as the toy. So if you find a box, or a toy rather, that's got the original box in great condition, that's a plus and a good chance to buy. Farm toys. Farm toys are pretty popular, especially here in southern Appalachia in an agriculture area. Greene County is known for its agriculture, and we have a lot of our collectors, a lot of our friends who like farm toys. This is a more modern piece. This would have probably been made in the 90s, late 80s or 90s, I'm guessing, but still very collectible, still yet today. That's an unstyled model of a John Deere, pulling an older Tru-Scale manure spreader. Tru-Scale was a brand that they used kind of a play of words to indicate their authenticity of a particular piece. This is actually a smaller scale than this tractor, but hey, we could spread manure all day long with that one. Matter of fact, when I was 5 or 6 or 7, I plowed 1,000,000 acres on my knees. Pretty cool piece right here. This is the Nylint brand, or Nylint. It depends on how you say it and who you ask. But this is a Ford cab-over pickup truck, metal, plastic wheels, probably dated around the time this truck would have been new, possibly even a dealership display-specific piece. But this is a 61 or 2, maybe 3 Ford model, my Nylint, and it is in very good condition. These are highly sought after for people who own these particular vehicles or for people who collect in this genre. Likewise, along the same lines is this particular piece, maybe just a tad bit older. This is an Army Corps of Engineers dump truck by Structo, another company. Tonka, Structo, Nylint is a little later, and they were all kind of along the same lines. Late 50s or maybe mid 50s, you could correct me if some of you are toy gurus, they started putting plastic tires on them, plastic tires and wheels. Before that, they were either hard rubber or wood. And but this is a Nylint version, very good condition of an Army truck. I'd like to draw your attention to this particular piece right here. This is called what people would call a ride-on, an early ride-on. It was literally made for a small toddler to sit his little booty right there and to drive this thing, to push it around, ride it, have a good time. They were usually made fairly heavily. It was kind of a before pedal car type piece, and it is I'm guessing this is probably a 1920s piece, but it's a little dump truck and everything works as it should. The wheels turn, all the wheels and the rubber and things are there. And that's a pretty cool early 19th century piece if you're into that sort of thing. Be great for decor, great for the toy collector, and along those lines. A subsection of collecting is scale semi-trucks. For some reason, there are a lot of people who are willing to collect these types of things. This is a pretty rare piece from Wix Fielders. There were a lot of particular brands that put their name on these. My favorite in my collection is a Magnavox truck. I remember my grandfather and grandmother having one of those, both of them having worked at Magnavox here in Greeneville. This is, again, new in the box, GMC brand cab-over semi-truck pulling a Wix Fielders trailer. Advertising point-of-sale type piece, and highly sought after for collectors. But nonetheless, these are kind of a selection of toys we have at the Back Porch Antiques. Many more that we've got. We've even got some more primitive toys, some folk art toys, things like that. If you like that sort of thing, give us a yell. If you're not local, we'd be glad to shoot you some videos or pictures of that and ship them to you. If you are local, I promise you won't be disappointed if you come see us. Back Porch Antiques, we'll see you next time.